Hello guys, welcome back to the lecture series of concrete technology. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss about classification of aggregates and what are the requirements of aggregates. Basically, aggregates are the ingredients of concrete. Okay, now, so the aggregates can provide volume, weight, and strength to concrete. And generally, the aggregates we can define that aggregates are generally cheaper than cement and impact greater volume, stability, and durability to concrete. So the aggregate is used primarily for the purpose of providing bulk to the concrete. To provide bulk to concrete. The aggregate is used primarily for the purpose of providing bulk to the concrete. To increase the density of the resulting mix, the aggregate is frequently used in two or more sizes. So it means if you use different sizes of aggregate for making concrete, so then we can give better strength to concrete. And also the most important function of the fine aggregate is to assist in producing the workability and uniformity in mixture. Okay, now so there are basically we have been discussed that two types of aggregates are there: fine aggregate and coarse aggregate. Okay, now so the weight and volume and bulk density will given by coarse aggregate to the concrete, and the fine aggregate especially it is used to provide uniformity to concrete. Uniformity in density throughout the mass of concrete. So basically the fine aggregates is also used to fill the gaps in between the coarse aggregates. Gaps in concrete mixture, gaps in between the coarse aggregates. Okay, now so for that purpose we are going to use the fine aggregate, and the aggregates provide about 75% of the body of the concrete, and hence its influence is extremely important. So they must be of proper shape, clean and strong and well graded. Okay, now so these are the different requirements of aggregate what we can see, and generally the aggregate can be defined that the materials used for the manufacturing of mortar will be called as fine aggregate, and the materials will be used for making concrete will be called as coarse aggregate and fine aggregate. Understand now? Next one is that the requirements of good aggregate. Understand? So if you take an aggregate, if you want to say that aggregate is good aggregate, okay, so that aggregate should have certain characteristics, and also that aggregate should possess certain properties. Understand? So they are called as requirements of good aggregate. We will see what are the requirements of good aggregates. If an aggregate is said to be a good aggregate or an ideal good aggregate, or if a material should be procured as an ingredient of concrete or as aggregate for making concrete, it should possess certain particular characteristics. Understand? So first of all, the aggregate must be clean. That is, it should be free from lumps, organic materials, any dust, etc. And next one, the aggregate should be strong. And the aggregate should be durable. And the aggregate should not react with cement. It means the aggregate should inert chemically. It should be inert chemically. It means it should not undergo any alkali aggregate reaction. Sometimes the aggregate can undergo some chemical reaction with cement, and also sometimes the aggregate can undergo some chemical reaction with water. So in that case, the aggregate should be inert chemically. Yeah, aggregate should be strong, should durable, should be clean, and it should be inert, and the aggregate should have rough surface. It should have rough surface, and it should not be, it means it should not be permeable. Understand or no? It means the aggregate should be impermeable. It should not absorb water or moisture, and also it should not allow water to enter in the body of the aggregate. Understand or no? So it means the aggregate should not absorb water. Understand? And it means it can absorb up to 5%. Okay, na? So it should not absorb water more than 5%. And the aggregate should not be soft and porous. Yeah, it should not be impermeable, means it should not be porous, and also it should have certain toughness, stiffness, and strength. It should not be soft. And one more requirement of the good aggregate is it should be chemically inert, and also it should not be porous, and it should not have any porosity, and also it should be angular or preferably cubical or spherical in shape. Understand now? So it means whenever we are making concrete, the aggregates of all sizes should be used, and the aggregates of all shapes should be used. Okay, now so then only we can give better strength and better density to concrete. Understand now? So coming to the requirements of good aggregate, it must be clean, that is it should be free from lumps, organic materials, dust, etc. And the aggregate should be strong, the aggregate should be durable, the aggregate should not react with cement after mixing. It means it should be chemically inert. The aggregate should have surface roughness. It should not absorb water more than 5%. It should not be soft and porous. It should be chemically inert. It should be of limiting porosity. It should preferably be all shapes and all sizes of aggregates to be used when we are making concrete. And the next one regarding aggregate is, it means what to say that classification of aggregates. Okay, now so the aggregates have been classified on different parameters based on their origin, based on their shape, based on their surface texture, based on their density, and also based on specific gravity. The aggregates have been classified into different categories. Okay, now so first we will see about classification of aggregates based on their geological origin. We will see classification of aggregates first of all, and then we can go for the each and every classification separately. See, classification of aggregates. The aggregates can be classified based on different parameters. First classification is based upon their origin or source of aggregates. The aggregates have been classified into two types based on their origin. First one is natural aggregates, and second one is artificial aggregates. And the next classification is based on the size of aggregate. They have been classified into two types: fine aggregate and coarse aggregate. And another classification is there, that is all-in aggregate. All-in aggregate is nothing but the combination of fine aggregate and coarse aggregate will be called as all-in aggregate, or the mixture of fine and coarse will be called as all-in aggregate. And the next classification according to their shape. According to their shape, the aggregates have been classified into four types: rounded aggregates, irregular aggregates, angular aggregates, and flaky aggregates. Whenever we need to make concrete, we need to use all these four types of aggregates. So then only we can provide good strength and good density to concrete. And the next classification is according to the unit weight. It means according to the unit weight of aggregate, we can classify aggregates in three categories. First one is normal weight aggregate, next one is heavy weight aggregate, and next one is light weight aggregate. Okay, now so generally it means we all know that the unit weight of concrete or the density of concrete generally we can take in between 23 to 26 kilonewton per meter square. Understand? So if any concrete or if any aggregate, it means the density of any aggregate will be in this range, the aggregate will be called as normal weight aggregate. Understand? And the concrete will be called as normal weight aggregate concrete. And if any density of any aggregate, any concrete is above this limit, it means more than 30 kilonewton per meter square, sorry, kilonewton per meter cube. Okay, now so more than this limit, kilonewton per meter cube, unless 30 kilonewton per meter cube, so then that concrete will be called as heavyweight aggregate concrete, and that aggregate will be called as heavyweight aggregate. Okay, now so the lightweight aggregate is nothing but the density or the unit weight of the aggregate. If it is less than 12 kilonewton per meter cube, okay, now so those aggregates will be called as lightweight aggregates. Okay, now so see, you can see here. So this is the different classification of aggregates based on different parameters like origin, size, shape, and unit weight. Okay, so come to first classification. According to its origin, the aggregates have been classified into two types: natural aggregates and artificial aggregates. Okay, now so natural aggregates are nothing but the aggregates which are naturally available on earth will be called as natural aggregates. Artificial aggregates is nothing but the aggregates which have been made by man or prepared by man. Okay, now so they will be called as artificial aggregates. Okay, now so generally the aggregates are produced or formed on earth only due to the weathering of rocks, or due to continuous action of water on rocks, or due to some blasting or breaking of rocks. The aggregates will be formed. Okay, now see, natural aggregates are generally obtained from natural deposits of sand and gravels, or from quarries by cutting of rocks. And the cheapest among them are natural sand and gravel, which have been reduced to their present size by natural agents such as water, wind, snow, etc. And the river deposits are the most common and are good quality. Okay, now so generally the river sand, the river gravel, all these things will be considered as natural aggregate. And coming to artificial aggregate, generally the aggregate which are in earth or which are nature made by human beings. Understand? So they will be called as artificial aggregates. So generally the broken bricks will be called as artificial aggregates. You can see the most widely used artificial aggregate are clean and clear broken bricks and air cooled fresh blast furnace slag. Understand? So these are broken bricks and air cooled ground granulated blast furnace slag will be considered as artificial aggregates. The most widely used artificial aggregate are clean broken bricks and air cooled fresh blast furnace slag. The broken bricks of good quality provide a satisfactory aggregate for the mass concrete and are not suitable for reinforced concrete work. If the crushing strength of brick is less than 30 to 35 megapascal, okay, now so then you can see crushing strength of bricks 30 to 35 megapascals. Okay, now so in that case it means if it is above this value, so then we can use that broken bricks for all types of concrete works. And if the crushing strength of bricks is less than 30 to 35 megapascals, in that case that bricks are not supposed to be used for reinforced cement concrete. The bricks should be free from lime mortar and lime sulfate plaster. The brick aggregate is not suitable for waterproof construction. It has poor resistance to wear and hence is not used in concrete for the road work. And next classification based upon the size, fine aggregate and coarse aggregate. The aggregate which passes through 4.75 mm sieve and retained on 75 micron sieve, so then that will be considered as fine aggregate. Understand? It means the particle size which is less than 4.75 and greater than 75 microns. Understand? So that will be called as aggregates. It means 75 microns to 4.75 mm. Particles will be considered as fine aggregate. And coarse aggregate is nothing but the particles whose size is greater than 4.75 mm. They will be considered as coarse aggregate. And all in aggregate means the mixture of both coarse aggregate and fine aggregate will be considered as all in aggregate. And coarse aggregate, basic material of the concrete. Crushed stone or gravel used in concrete are called coarse aggregate, and it means they will not pass when they are dry. Understand? And the next classification according to their shape. According to shape, the aggregates have been classified into 4 types: rounded aggregate, irregular aggregate, angular aggregate, and flaky aggregate. Okay, now so the aggregate may be classified into these 3 types. First one is rounded shape. Understand? It means the aggregate generally for appearance which are in rounded and smooth surface, they will be considered as rounded aggregates. The aggregate with rounded particles, generally river, seashore, gravel may be in round shape. Okay, now so the aggregate with rounded particles has minimum voids. Understand? And also the void percentage may be 32 to 33%. It means the voids present within rounded aggregates. The rounded aggregates are, it means they are good in nature. They are also having less number of voids. Okay, so but the only disadvantage is that the interlocking between its particles is less, and hence the development of bond is poor. So that's why if you use rounded aggregates, it means they can give good density to concrete, but they cannot give good strength to concrete. Okay, now next classification is irregular aggregate. The aggregate having partly rounded particles, they will be considered as irregular aggregates. Understand? And the irregular aggregates also can provide less number of voids. It means the voids percentage in case of irregular aggregates maybe 35 to 38%. It contains voids 35 to 38%. And it means generally the pit sand and gravel may be considered as irregular aggregate. It means generally the pit sand and gravel may be available in irregular shape. Okay, now and the next one is next classification is angular aggregate. Okay, now so see, it means generally the irregular aggregate required, if it means if you use irregular aggregate, okay, so in that case the quantity of cement to be used may be increased. Understand? So it required more cement paste for given workability. Okay, so and the next one is the angular aggregate. The aggregate with sharp, angular and rough particles may be called as angular aggregates. The angular aggregates can have maximum of voids. Understand? It means the voids percentage in case of angular aggregate may be 38 to 40%. And the interlocking between the particles is good. Okay, now so that's why angular aggregates can give good strength to concrete. But to control the voids, we can use rounded aggregates or irregular aggregates. Okay, now so that's why it is preferable that whenever we need to make a concrete, the combination of all such aggregates must be there. So in that case we can give good strength. It means in that case we can reduce the percentage of voids, and also we can provide good interlocking. So then automatically we can provide good density, good volume and good strength and good durability to concrete. And the next one is the flaky aggregate. So an aggregate is termed flaky when its least dimension is less than 3/5 of its main dimension. Understand? So flaky aggregate is nothing but every aggregate. It means every aggregate can have a range. Understand? It means based on the size. Understand? It means always aggregate. It means the aggregates, the size of aggregates lying between 75 microns to 4.75 mm. Okay, so what will be the mean dimension of this aggregate? It means 4.75 microns, sorry 4.75 mm plus 75 microns divided by 2, whatever the value will get. Understand? So that will be the mean dimension or mean size of that aggregate. Okay na? So the what you say that what I told you that the size of aggregates which is less than 3/5 of its mean dimension. Understand? So it means some value you may get. It means its mean value may be 1 mm or 2 mm or 1.5 mm. Okay na? So 1.5 mm is the will be a mean dimension of any aggregate. Okay na? So what will be the 3/5 of 1.5 mm? 3/5 into 1.5 mm. Okay na? So you will get certain value. Okay na? So it means the aggregate, if you take a bunch of aggregates, if you take a mass of aggregates, okay, so in that aggregates the percentage of it means how many number of particles may have less dimension or less size, understand less size than the 3/5 of its mean dimension. Okay, so those aggregates will be called as flaky aggregates. Understand? So an aggregate is termed flaky when its least dimension is less than 3/5 of its mean dimension. The presence of these particles should be restricted 10 to 15% in case of concrete. Understand? So the flaky aggregates should be always should be less than 10 to 50%. Okay na? So these are the different classifications based on their shape, according to shape. Rounded aggregates, irregular aggregates, angular aggregates and flaky aggregates. Okay na? So and the next classification based on the unit weight. Based on the unit weight, the aggregates have been classified into 3 types: normal weight aggregate, heavy weight aggregate, light weight aggregate. Normal weight aggregate are also called as normal density aggregate. Heavy weight aggregate are also called as heavy density aggregate or high density aggregate, and light weight aggregate are also called as light density aggregate. Okay, so normal weight aggregate are commonly used aggregate. Understand? So generally the sands, gravels, crushed rocks such as granite, quartz, sandstone and limestone. Okay, so these are the normal weight aggregates. And also sometimes brick ballast or broken brick particles will also called as normal weight aggregates. Okay, so all these aggregates have specific gravities in between 2.5 to 2.7. Understand? So specific gravity G in between 2.5 to 2.7. So then those aggregates also will be called as normal weight aggregates. Understand? And okay, so such normal weight aggregate produce concrete with unit weight ranges from 23 to 26 kilonewton per meter cube. Already we have discussed here. Okay, and their 28 days crushing strength may be in between 15 to 40 megapascal. Understand? So it means the particles whose specific gravity is in between 2.5 to 2.7, they will be called as normal weight aggregate. Understand? So if we use normal weight aggregate for making concrete, so in that case the density of aggregate will lie in between 23 to 26 kilonewton per meter cube. Understand? So in that case the concrete's 28 days strength will be around 15 to 40 megapascal. Okay, and next one is the heavy weight aggregate or high density aggregate. Concrete having unit weight of about 30, 31, 35, 38, 40, 47 and 57 kilonewton per meter cube can be called as high density aggregate. Understand? It means what to say that the concretes having density more than 30 kilonewton per meter cube. So in that case the aggregates used for making that concrete will be called as heavy weight aggregate. Okay, so generally if we use heavy weight aggregate for making concrete, its density may be 30, 31, 37, 47, 50, 57 kilonewton per meter cube. And the next one is the lightweight aggregate. So lightweight aggregate having unit weight up to 12 kilonewton per meter cube. Understand? It means less than 12 kilonewton per meter cube. Those aggregate will be called as lightweight aggregate. And if we use lightweight aggregate for making concrete, that concrete will be called as lightweight concrete. Okay, so lightweight concretes are the most advanced type of concretes. Nowadays the entire research on concrete is going to be on lightweight concretes only. Okay, so these are the different classifications of aggregates which are to be used for making concrete according to their origin. The aggregates have been classified into natural aggregate and artificial aggregate. According to size, the aggregates have been classified into fine aggregate, coarse aggregate, and the combination of fine aggregate and coarse aggregate will be called as alline aggregate. And the next one is according to shape, the aggregates have been classified into rounded, irregular, angular, flatly. And according to their unit weight, the aggregates have been classified into unit weight aggregate, normal weight aggregate, heavy weight aggregate, and light weight aggregate. Okay guys. So this is the classification of aggregates what we have been discussed in this session. So especially in this session, we have been discussed about what is aggregate, and what are the sources of aggregate, what are the requirements of good aggregate, and what is the classification of aggregates. So coming to requirements of aggregate, what we have been discussed in this session is the aggregates should be chemical inert, they should be clean, understand, and they should not undergo any chemical reactions with water and cement. And all sizes of aggregates should be used, and also they should be strong, they should have rough surface, they should be impermeable, and also they should not have any porosity, understand. So these are all the different requirements of good aggregate. Okay guys, we will meet in next session. In this video session, we have been discussed about what is aggregate, what are the requirements of good aggregate, and what are the different classification of aggregate. Thank you so much.